Hello YouTube, Slacker Stacker here, and I'm doing this video kind of in response to a video that Solid Metal put out about what's the direction for silver. And they're talking about the precious metal use in industry, and that with new technologies and more materials that could take the place of silver, that it could be relaxing the demand for the metal in the market. I just thought I'd kind of give my 2 cents worth on that one. And I'm going to cover all three metals. Of course, the king of the metals being gold here, probably the least likely, well, I really don't want to say least likely, but the lesser used in industry. Well, like, except for jewelry, that's huge. But they do use gold. I mean, it's there. It's in the computer processors. It's in the fingers that actually connect boards to other boards. It's in pens. It's in special. Wish I had some here available. I don't, but like in adapters for like headphone jacks and stuff like that. They gold plate those for the connectivity issues. Some of the higher end, and I'll show you here. These are gold plated higher end audio and video cables. Again, for their connectivity, and gold doesn't tarnish, it doesn't oxidize, it doesn't really corrode, so it maintains its connectivity a lot better than just normal metals. Gold is highly conductive. It's also very reflective, and I'm going to show you here that I've got some signal going through a circuit, but it's not complete yet. But when I put my ring, you can see that it conducts that electricity, and it conducts that signal, and it passes through that gold quite easily. And space industry highly uses it. I was fortunate enough to take a tour at NASA, and NASA, they had some radios and some other equipment that had the backs taken off of it, and the actual circuit board itself, sorry, I'm kind of hand holding the camera this time, so forgive a little bit of the shaking, but if you see all those little lines in there, those are called traces, okay, and each of those traces are, just a base metal, or some are copper, some are just kind of a base metal covered in a insulative epoxy or a covering that makes it look green. Well, the radios and stuff at NASA, it was completely gold, pure gold, because again, they don't tarnish, they don't oxidize, they don't corrode, and for harsher conditions, it's a very sturdy metal, and they're not going to have signal degradation, they're not going to have connectivity issues if there's no corrosion or oxidation to fault those points. So that's, they also use like gold foil, it's reflective. They use that to protect parts of spacecraft and equipment in the space industry. So then, getting back to the conference thing that Sal was talking about, they were really looking at silver and talking about other things taking its place in the future with other technologies. Well, silver, again, is very conductive. And as you can see, I'm going to take that off, show you, put it back on, and there's your signal. And silver is taking that signal. Silver is also very, very conductive to heat, and it'll pull heat away from things really easily. Now, this is one thing I've got to tell you about in the electronic, is they're worried about different things taking its place. Well, with the scare of lead and its toxicity to people, and giving them, brain damage, lead poisoning and all these things, there's a real conscious effort to lower lead as much as you can. And I've been in electronics for many, many years, and they've actually taken stuff like this, and I don't want to show any logos or anything, but like from a hobby shop where you can get solder for do-it-yourself projects, it's only like 2% silver. I mean, there's lead and there's tin and other alloys to make it a lower melting point so you can do your projects easier. However, commercial grade, domestic, stuff like that, that's no longer the case. They have gone to this, which is what they call a silver solder, and it's not really a resin core or anything. It's just pretty much a total metal because the resin has caused problems. But they want things called lead free. And so they're minimizing lead content, which means that the silver content has actually increased. And you find silver everywhere, so it's never going to go out of demand. I mean, it goes. This is something from the old times where it was all tube type, but every little connection in there is solder, and it has silver in it. It surrounds you. It's in your TVs. It's in your alarm clocks. It's in your kids' toys. It's in stereos, iPads, iPhones. You know, just everything. If it has a circuit board and you put a battery in it, it has some form of silver. Maybe not a whole lot, maybe just minute amounts, but it's there, and it is in demand for industry. And so then we want to go to, take that off, to our old friend copper here. And copper is heavily used in the industry. And we'll put him on there, and again, we can see it's conducting, and we have our signal going through. And even though the Bitcoin looks like a circuit board, it now is a circuit board. So and you know, copper is used for everything too. I mean, it's heavily used even in like industrial wiring. All that is copper braided electrical wiring. It's used in pots and pans because of the conductivity of heat. It's used in industry for this big old dude here. Now this is actually a ground bar that goes back on the back of a radio system, and it's huge. I mean, it's like a huge bullion bar here with holes drilled in it. And it's also used on heavy DC buses for communications equipment. It's big thick cabling. Is used in transformer windings. Where is it? I had it. Sorry for the shakiness again. I'm holding this one-handed. But it's used in the windings for these little transformers. Again, you'll find silver all in these traces and joints. But the precious metals, they're going to stay in demand. You know, they have their niche in there. The things have been proven and tried and proven. Sorry, I got that kind of backwards. But they're not going anywhere. There's always going to be a demand for precious metals in industry. Now, silver may take a little bit of dip, but it's so widely used, and with new EPA mandates and requirements, you know, all that lead and that solder, you know, that's really restricted to military and government uses. They're the only ones really allowed to use the heavy leaded stuff anymore. All the consumer electronics and anything that you're going to be around now, by mandate, has to be what they consider the lead content low enough to be called silver free. So actually, if anything, the demand for the silver in an industry is actually going to go up in the electronic field. So anyway, guys, you know, that's just my 2 cents worth. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it wasn't too boring. But please like and subscribe, and stack on, my friends.